Welcome back, my fellow arrow slingers, to number 6 on the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, Hardcore Hunting Tactics. Thanks for tuning in to Slay Studio, hiding in the mountains of God's heaven. This is your boy D-Rock here with
Trev,
filling you with some early season tactics, and Ryan,
the
Pornstar, is back to get you aiming at some antler. Today's episode is brought to you by Shabeen Brewing, CT's finest craft beer for deer camp, the Hunter's Beer. 100 Demons, East Coast hardcore music, found worldwide. Trev's Euros for all your Euro needs. And made possible by CT Bowhunting, CT's #1 source for bow hunting. We are here as always to bring new and old hunters back into the woods through our hunting stories, experiences, and our knowledge of playing and slaying right in the woods. What's up, everyone? What's going on?
Playing and slaying.
What's up, D-Rock?
I don't know. You tell me, man. I heard you're back on the hooch.
Whoop, whoop.
Back.
Back on the hoop, shaking his hips.
I don't know what that means at all.
Going back to
Ryan
your
the
side
porn
job.
star.
Oh, come on.
True's
That's the story in the street.
That's it.
You filming again?
What street's this happening on?
I don't know. Sleaze Street, maybe?
I wasn't there.
Ryan the porn star is back, folks, on some hot topics. So what we're actually going over today is some pretty good topics. We're mainly going to be targeting hunting tactics. We're going to go over moon phase, what everyone here likes to do personally. And also we might have some tips on some RTG ready to go gear. We're also going to go over some wood safety and Pornstar Ryan Chits and shoots.
Right.
We'll touch base on that later on
That's
in the
awesome.
episode, though.
Why don't I shout out the people who donated?
Yeah. Actually, why don't you
harnesses.
talk about that a little bit before we shout them out?
Things have really been taking off. We've gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of people reaching out to us that want to donate or receive a safety harness. So we've got some people from all the way from Wisconsin. So it's been really cool. We still got some donators that are mailing in some stuff.
And where you can find that? Where can they submit donations if they want to hit us up?
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast at gmail.com is where you can contact us, or any of our social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
Tumblr.
That's it.
All of them. We're all over.
Yeah.
I think we're even on Vero, and maybe there's like 17 people left on Vero.
Yeah.
I think. That's just a guess.
I think you can find Ryan on Plenty of Fish.
No, come on.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Or bootycall.com.
Booty.
Yo, that's a dirty
Is
thing.
that even a thing?
It is.
D-Rock?
I swear to you.
Christian mingle. I'll shout these guys out who donated to us.
Cool.
We got Brad Berries. He reached to us through CT Bowhunting.
Are you
Actually,
sure
that's
his
another way
last
to
name
get
isn't Badias?
Barriers?
No, it's Berries.
Maybe.
He reached out to through ctbowhunting.com, which is another place to get a hold of us too. Is through the forum. You can reach out to D-Rock, Ryan, or myself there. Actually, that's where you can get through to Ryan.
Yeah.
Yup. I get
wanna hit
alerts
up
for
Ryan,
that.
ladies.
Sent to my
Yeah.
phone.
So we got Brad Berries, Bob Romanowski, Tim Vroom, and Amanda Peed. She donated out, and they all shipped out safety harnesses to us.
That's
So
pretty cool.
It's exciting. So we definitely are stacking them up.
But we
definitely
are
get the
we are
feedback.
still looking for some youth harnesses, though. We still haven't acquired any of those. We got some people looking for those. So please, anyone that can, donate some youth harnesses to us to get out to our youth and the future hunters out here.
Just give back to the community.
Even big man harnesses, whatever's out there, If it's not expired, send them in. I'm sure the big guys won't really care if it's
There's plenty
used
of us.
or new. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Big guys need love, too.
Ryan, do you want to share some stories from some guys that we sent out harnesses to?
I think he does. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, you guys want me to? I think I can take a look at this here. All right, so what we're going to go with here is our new buddy here, Jacob Mason, has gotten in touch with us, and he's been looking for a harness here. Here's a quick message we got from him. Talks about how he came across our program on another archery page. He's currently a college student budget, but he would absolutely love bow hunting and will continue to be doing it on a bow given to him by his buddy. So he's just starting out, hand-me-down bow, just really looking to get into the sport. He's been listening to our podcast, which is excellent. All 4 or 5 listens to you now.
Yeah, I think we're up to 22.
22.
Hell yeah.
We're still at 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
no, we graduated.
22 with one hater, but we'll touch on that later.
Yeah, so
I know.
Jacob
I don't mean to
reached out
rhyme
to
all the
us.
time.
Jacob reached out to us. He's on a college budget, like Trevor mentioned before. And he's just looking for a little help, and anywhere we can help, we would love to.
Yeah, so we sent him out a harness.
And actually, Jacob is actually out of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So we're reaching out there, which is awesome. We appreciate everyone sharing what we got, and he's reaching right out to us.
Yeah, we'll mail it out to you, even if you guys are across the country.
Yeah, we'll get them out there, even to Canada, if they allow Mexicans to mail stuff to Canada. I'll try, though. I'll try. You never know what'll happen.
All right, so we do have another one here coming from a gentleman that emailed us. And the story goes, my youngest brother is 12 years old.
What's his name?
His name is Justin Harcourt. I apologize. Skipped right over that. Justin Harcourt reached out to us via email. He said, my youngest brother is 12 years old and has been bugging me for a few years to get his hunter safety course done. So this year, I finally told him I'll help him get the course. And I bought him a bow to hunt with and going to get a 2-person ladder stand for me or our fathers to be up here. But the agreement was he can't fail a class or get in trouble at school. Of course, kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what kind of grades he's getting now?
So of course, kids, Trevor and I, we used to take our sick days during school, but you know what? We did the rest of the year as we should. We got great grades and allowed us to get out of school. So of course, school
we had
is first.
We had to hold an average.
Yep, we had to hold a good average. And he is now this gentleman here is getting a C average. His brother is now mostly an A student and hasn't gotten in trouble yet in school.
It's awesome. That's important.
That's good news.
That's really what we like to hear.
Trev, what's that bumper sticker your dad used to have on the back of his Mustang?
Kids who hunt, fish, or trap don't mug little old ladies.
That's it. You learn, you learn respect. You learn respect.
Unless you're from the dirty dirt.
I was raised on that shit, man. That's
Yeah.
You got to get the youth involved, and that's a huge thing.
Absolutely.
That's why we're asking for youth.
Absolutely. So
youth
we do have
harnesses.
people reaching out to us, and feel free to reach out to us. And as soon as we can get some supplies for you
We'd
guys,
love to
we'll
hear
get them
your
out to
story.
you. Let's hear your story.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thanks for a shout out. Your little brother, Braden, he's going to get hooked up.
Yeah, we're going to send him something out now.
He's a bigger kid, so we'll definitely get to send him out. And you should be getting it any time now if you listen to this podcast. Don't forget to write our 5-star review now,
Yeah,
That's fair and square. So back at the topics at hand, we let's start off, since it's hunting tactics. You guys were recently in the woods not too long ago.
We've been hitting it hard.
That's what I'm saying.
Real hard.
So were there any more Trev's bloopers or Ryan drop-offs, lap dances?
No.
What is a Ryan drop off?
I don't know. You tell me, Ryan.
Let's hear what this whole Ryan shits and shoots. I want to hear about Ryan shits and shits.
Oh man!
Shits and shoots.
All right. So Trevor hunted those days with the main guys that we're going to talk about here. Hunted 3-4 days straight. He was all beat, and I finally had a Sunday off. We were going to get together, do a little private land hunting here in Connecticut, and Trev just wanted to sleep in. So I went to my go-to, walk out my front door, and go sit in my stand. So it doesn't get much better than that. So I go out there on a whim. Not really know what's going on over there this year. No cameras or anything out, but I know it does produce some deer. So I get out in there, and for whatever reason, when I go out there, I always got to take a shit right about daylight, and I am so against.
I think a lot of people could relate on the subject too.
I bring a bottle of me so I could piss in, but whatever reason, whenever I hunt this land, and I always prepare for it in case I have to, but I never will take a shit anywhere where I'm deer hunting. Okay, but
Why
for whatever,
is that?
Just it's not a good idea.
I mean, let's explain to the newbies out there where should they shit.
Scent. Well, not in the woods, hopefully.
All right.
But if you got to, you want to get away a little bit. But generally, this place is, it's so close to my front door that generally I'll try and make my way out. But I wasn't ruining this hunt. I was out there. It was a nice cold morning. So I said, you know what? Wind's in my face. I'm going to go a little downwind of me from where I think the deer are coming. And I'm just going to do it. So climb down, leave my bow in the stand, and get down, do my business. I'm done. And I stand up, and here's 2 does out in front of me. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Okay, so I'm like, all right, well, it's still pretty early. It's only 7 a.m. at this point, of course, prime morning, and this is what I'm doing. Get back up in my stand. I'm sitting there. Not even 5 minutes later, I didn't really hear anything. It was a quiet morning out there. There's a lot of pine needles where I'm at. And I just felt like there was something there. I look over my shoulder, and here I got a little buck coming right behind me. He's 10 yards away, just snuck right up at me. Like, you got to be kidding me.
And I could tell. And you just took a shit.
I just took a shit. And I could tell he was nosing towards it. He smelled it. It was within a couple minutes. I'm telling you, he smelled it.
What'd you eat last night?
Oh, well, I think it's some chicken wings and stuff. I don't know. But so he smelled it, and I swear that's what he was coming in for. So he caught me off guard. I was able to get my bow. I turned around. He was completely behind my stand. And I go to draw on him, and he happens to just look up at me, and we just locked eyes. And I'm like a quarter draw, and we just locked eyes. Oh, he was a nice looking, healthy deer. He was no monster, but he had a good rack. He was a real good eating deer.
Right.
So I was at like a quarter draw, and we just locked eyes, and he was 10, 15 yards away, and it's just going through my head. I'm like, do I just quickly draw as fast as I can and let that shot off? It's a nice, easy, quick shot. And I end up hitting my bottom cam on my quiver where I had it tucked into my stand, and he heard that, and he kind of got a little riled up, and he started to walk away, started to run. And I'm like, oh damn, I watched him as far as I could through the brush, and I put my bow back. Next thing I know, look through the brush, and I can see his legs. He's walking right back, and he's nosing right towards where I just took a shit. He wants in on it. He thinks it's someone else in his territory. He's coming right back, and he's coming right back to where I messed up with him the first time.
So you're saying that it's possible that may be a good hunting tactic?
Dumb young buck, man. Dumb young buck.
Take a shit in the woods if you want some meat?
Yeah. And so...
I'm about to literally try this. I mean,
what is that testosterone kicking and
Yeah,
fucking Ryan the porn star?
No,
he smelled all the testosterone.
Right.
He's like, I need that.
Of course, it's October 1st now. Going on October 2nd. Nope, we're a little later than that. But at this point, it was October 1st at that day. I was hunting, and that's when the little bucks are starting to get a little. The little bucks are starting to get a little riled up. They're starting to rub on trees. They're starting to scrapes, and he was just. He smelled someone on his territory, and he came back. So I did get a draw on him at that point, and I did take a shot. And unfortunately, I made a shoulder shot, and we all know a shoulder shot can be a little tough, especially I was using an expandable broadhead. Didn't get very much penetration on it. Trev and I tracked him for a good long while. On our hands and knees, we found some blood, but just determined that it wasn't a fatal shot. It was all bone. Didn't get much pentation at all with that expandable.
Well, at least he lived.
Time on it.
Yeah, so I know I'll be seeing him again shortly.
If not you, I'll get him.
But we found some scrapes that he was making, some small rubs that he was making, and I think it was just that time that these young bucks are now starting to get a little riled up. A little pre-rut for the young guys, the young dumb ones that are smelling human shit out there and looking for what's going on.
You must eat really good because it was something similar.
My girl can cook. My girl can cook. So, but yeah, so I had a little run in. Unfortunately, couldn't seal a deal with it. But that's my little crazy story. Like I said, I never ever do that in the woods, and it just happened to work out that morning. He came in, he smelled it within a couple minutes.
We just stayed talking about it, so he was like, "Oh, this is all right. We can do that." So fuck it.
That's crazy.
They talk about it all the time. People taking the shit. If you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, well,
let's just try it, and it worked out. What a success story.
That's
what
crazy.
The hell?
You would never even think that would work, but hey.
No.
So let's transition off of that smelly subject and go into what more people are more familiar with, or could even be myths here and there, because everyone has a lot of opinions on this. I really, and I hunt this way too, in exception to a few situations, and we'll go over all that, is moon phases. Trev, what do you know, what do you think, and what do you believe in moon phases?
Moon phases, they make good tides in the ocean.
Well, not
the fisherman.
I know, sorry. You asked. What the fuck do you want from me?
That's good input. No, you're a fisherman in the summer, and once the fall hits, you're a hardcore
now it's
hunter.
Different. So moon phases, they're definitely, it's something that I follow constantly. Moon phases on the full moons and stuff. I'll get a lot more pictures on my camera, so come in and they'll hit the active scrapes more towards when it comes to rut and stuff. And it's different. Like say there's a full moon all night long. Them deer can see a lot further with the full moon, and they'll feed mostly all night.
Yeah,
or they're bed down in the middle of the field. They can see. There's a lot more, so then you get a little bit different movement in the morning. It might not be that first light. It might be a little bit later, that 9, 10 o'clock. when they actually kick up, because they're just out late night partying, in the middle of the field. Like,
It's true, though.
bro,
It's
what's
true.
good?
That's actually 100% true because no matter where you go, from the dirty water to out in Coventry or anywhere else in the heavy timber in Connecticut or the whole up and down East Coast, at night they're looking for that full moon, so this way they got full mobility and they have a much more aggressive feeding pattern. And then this way, because deer are rhythmic pattern feeders. I mean, they're in their own routine, just like everyone else, like the blue-collar guy. We wake up, we have our routine, or woman out there. You just go through your normal routine, eat, feed, go to work, do your business, go back to bed. I mean, it's the same thing with deer. So when they have more light at night, for all you newbies, the moon phases, an exception of few situations, and we'll touch base on that, is they'll stay up all night partying, like Trev said, and then they'll come out again when they need the 5, because typically they feed 5 times a day, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, give or take, depending on the weather, too.
Get up,
Right.
Totally depends on weather and the heat and stuff like that. Like earlier in the season now, I mean, they're going to bed down a lot longer. Then they'll go out and feed. They're not going to want to move around as much.
Right. And this next coming week is actually going to be a good time to get some sleep in and set up a little later than normal, because, I mean, by the time you listen to this, it'll be coming out, the 8th, this episode, and then it'll be just climbing back into full moon phase, because I think our full moon is either 24th, 25th, something like that in October.
Right.
But at night, between
Didn't we have
that
it
time.
at the beginning of the month also?
Yeah.
Well, we had
end of September.
End of September, right. I mean, that's what made our hunting a little bit tougher.
Right.
With what we were doing the other day.
Hell yeah. What were you doing?
We got busy.
Yeah.
We got real busy. We put some deer on the ground.
With who?
The boys from up in Maine, Northeastern Game Calls. They came down and they spent Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with me hunting here in Connecticut.
Nice.
So they spent a couple days down here, long weekend. Brought them into some land, got them on some private property, brought them on some food plots and some ground blinds, some stilt ground blinds, and we just had at it. And we had a lot of crazy interactions. Mark himself, the custom knife builder that he is and call maker, he came down first night Thursday. Those guys came straight to here. They met up with me. It was like 3 o'clock. Put the boys up in the woods. Got them on stand, and fucking we just sat there all night. And so I text them, and them Maine boys, they don't hunt like we do. They hunt. You know what I'm saying? They can go a whole season and just shoot one deer. So I wasn't in contact with him or nothing, and I get out of my stand and it's dark, and I text Mark and I'm like, Mark, what's going on, buddy? And he says, yo, I just had. He didn't say yo. He just said I had a.
No, he might have if he was.
No.
In
Well,
in
I don't know,
dirty.
man. He was in gym. He was all over the place. He said, just fucked up on a big buck and fucked up my bow. And I said, what? So I meet up with him a couple minutes later, and I'm like, Mark, what happened? He gets out the truck, and he's like, he's shaking, dude, shaking. And I'm like, Mark, what happened? He's like, look at my bow. It got de-strung. I don't know what happened, but there was like a doe that came in, and she keeps looking back, and I look around the corner, and it's this giant antler. And he's like, the thing was giant, so I decompressed. I wait for the doe to leave, and here he is 10 yards straight down from me. I'm at full draw. I let it go, and the bow just goes, and the arrow just falls onto the ground.
No.
Yeah, he hit his cam on the fucking tree stand and missed out on like 150, 160 inch deer. And he showed me pictures of deer they shot in the past, and this boy knows. He shot some monsters, bro. And he said it was a giant. And so that was
day
day
160 up here.
150, 160, yeah.
150. Even
Just
that's still
heavy
really,
horn,
that's a good
wide.
buck.
He said it was like 20 inches on the spread on the inside.
That's a good buck.
So real nice deer. And so that was the first night. Then Friday.
And that was on low light, right? Low light the night before?
Yeah, it was like 6:20, so we had like 15 minutes to go.
And moon phase was darker too.
Right. And it was overcast. There was a storm front coming in the next day. and that deer was like licking his nose, like he went all into detail, and he was definitely like the testosterone was building up, and he was right hanging out with that doe.
That's
so
crazy.
Things are, I don't know, like, maybe since that the
atmosphere...
velvet's off and now we're hard horned, and maybe get a little bit more testosterone rolling. And
well, not just that, the barometric pressure's been up. Anything over 30.
Yeah, and the days are getting a little bit shorter here. So, yep. I mean, anything's possible, but it was pretty crazy. So that was the first night. Then Friday, it rained all day. So we got up in these box blinds on stilts, and we sat there. So I sat with Mark, and it was a great time. And, we got to know one another because they sponsor me. I'm on the pro staff for those guys. And so it was cool to...
Why they sponsor you, not us?
Well, they are. They're going to... They do. They stand behind us.
They're already promoting Shabeen, right?
Yeah, they love Shabeen.
What format? Does. Yeah?
Yeah, he was on IG, and he typed in, he goes, "Thanks for the weekend, fresh meat and Shabeen," while I'm cutting up my deer up there. So
hell yeah, shout out to Shabeen.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So then Ethan, I sat with Mark on Friday. We had an incident with a smaller buck. Couldn't get a shot off. He came into the food plot and just beelined his way out. Had no idea we were there. Just he was on a set trail. I thought he was gonna go up to Ethan in the other food plot, and it didn't happen.
Mind you, these are heavy woods too, though, right?
Oh, this is crazy woods. This is like giant.
River
just
bottom,
to paint the picture,
Yeah, I mean, it's thick. I mean, it's definitely something. So then that was that for that hunt.
How'd he clean it, though? There were some pictures posted how he cleaned it.
Oh, in the river. But that was... So he ended up shooting a deer Saturday morning. I sat with him, get to know Ethan and stuff, and what he was all about and everything like that. And so I sat with Ethan for the day, and Ethan ends up shooting one. It was a little bit after 7. Deer came into the food plot, and he's like...
And it was a little warmer that day, right?
Yeah, it was a nicer day. No rain. The storm had just ended. It was a little bit... It wasn't that... It was nice out. And so he ended up shooting this deer, quartering towards him, ends up getting a liver shot on it, puts him down. Took us a little while to get on him and definitely drag him back. So that was deer 1. Then they ended up shooting another one. They went down to zones 11 and 12, and they ended up taking one down over there over bait at a friend's house. So we had
awesome.
we had a really good couple of days.
But why did he clean it in the river, though? Just for the new guys out there. Why?
Just to cool it down, put it in the cold river, cool it down, snap it real quick, get the temperature down, and clean everything off. Just final, make sure the meat's clean and everything like that. And
because there's a lot of discrepancy if you should even get the meat wet or not or whatever. But that's actually a good tactic on a warmer day. Like, if worse comes to worse, you want to cool that meat down.
Well, not even that, but the blood on it, when you have blood on it, the blood starts to mold.
Right.
That's where you get your molding, is on the blood. Right. So you definitely want to clean it off.
If you happen to get any gut, you got to get that off of there.
Especially with that. So bringing it to the river, especially with a gut shot or even a liver shot that's close to the gut, you definitely want to take care of that and bring it to the coolest running water available, whether it be a river, your garden hose, grandma's sink, if she lets you.
Just take care of it, prep it. Definitely a big thing. Cool it down. And these earlier... When it's warmer, 50, 60, 70, you definitely want to cool it down as fast as you possibly can.
So back to the moon phases. That's actually a really cool story. But
yeah, we had a really great time, man. And we're going to end up hearing from those guys and hear their sides of the story with their Maine accent. So they're at the tippity top of the East Coast. They came down to Connecticut to hunt with us.
Top of our riser.
Yeah, so they can definitely they're going to speak for themselves, and they can definitely tell their stories because they're coming back down to hunt in November. They're going to come and hunt with us.
And we'll have them on the show by then.
Yeah, so they'll be down here and they're going to hunt again, and we'll hear some stories and what they think, and, just kind of spreading the love up and down the East Coast,
Hell yeah. That's pretty cool. So back to the moon phases is, there's 3 really good moon phase tips for deer hunting, if that's the realm you want to venture. But this actually covers a lot of different types of tactics, because one trumps the other. A good way to dictate a good hunt the following days is you start at moon phase. Moon phase, if it's bright night, a lot of light that night, no storm, not very cloudy. Obviously, you want to wait a little later in the day. because they're partying all night, like Trev recapped on that. So if it's a cloudy night, you know, or not a lot of visibility that week or whatever, that night in particular, they're going to bunker down and try to get food supply close by, and they'll wake up early, hungry as hell, to try to get their bellies full. And then switching from that, I mean, you definitely don't want to be out there when it's dark, windy, or noisy. Dark, windy, and noisy, that's what it boils down to, little feeding. If it's nice and cool, calm, and bright, they're going to be out there nice and early. Basics. So let's switch over to the second part of hunting tactics is forget the moon for the annual whitetail rut. Because what trumps moon phases? The fucking rut.
The rut.
The rut trumps
Does.
moon phases.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what?
Estrogen.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's...
So, I don't mean to interrupt you, and I don't mean to cut you off, but Mark just texted me, and he said, I'll definitely sponsor the podcast.
And who's this?
That's
Nor'easter
Nor'easter Game Calls.
The
He
gentleman
says,
we were just talking
I'm
about.
listening to your podcast right now, have to be a sponsor for you guys.
Hell yeah.
So
Hell
we
yeah.
have Nor'eastern Game Calls wants to sponsor the podcast.
And that's live, folks. We're doing that live.
Yeah.
And
so
that's right then and there. We're going to get another sponsor, which is cool because you know what? All we're looking for is getting the hunting community together as a team. And this way we could branch off as a big family and help. Everyone helps each other. It's like more or less like a merchant circle, so to speak, but
Right.
family style.
absolutely,
You know, as everyone, one
We
hand
love
washes
it.
the other. Yeah.
We love the passion of it. I mean,
Hell yeah.
Mark is a really good dude. Not only does he make custom game calls, mind you, he makes custom game calls, custom knives, custom pens, custom.
But which state, though?
He's in Maine.
The hunting state.
That's it.
On the East Coast, anyways.
On the East Coast, right? And he makes wine caps for your for your girlfriends. You know that go in the wine bottles. He makes all of his own scent off. So he showed me that when he was down here. He made field spray. He makes doe and estrus, buck and estrus. He makes scents. He makes attractants. He makes all that. So he's not just a custom call maker. And not even that, his grunt call is out of this world. You know how you have to take a grunt call and you have to twist off the top and change the elastic up and down it?
Right.
This has a little brass tab that you can push from swamp buck all the way to fawn. And
That's crazy.
And
So
you
it's
don't
a
have to take
switch.
nothing apart. It's just literally a
switch.
switch that goes back and forth.
That's pretty cool. That's
So,
badass. I'm
pretty
looking
cool.
forward to talk to them.
Yeah,
about this. That's
Absolutely,
gonna be
and show
really
you
cool.
some cool things. Yeah, so it's kind of exciting. Just sorry.
Hell yeah.
Just
No,
kinda-
that's good interruption. Thanks for interrupting. I mean, if you're going to interrupt, that's the way to do it. Shit.
Yeah,
Additional
that was
sponsor.
Good news. That was good news.
Hell yeah. So back to the rut. It trumps the moon phase. The whitetail rut is crazy because no matter where you are, anywhere in the world, during rut, which is typically, I mean, I can't speak for Midwest or West Coast because I really don't know hands-on. I only experienced last year. I was fortunate enough to get a Missouri buck, and that was awesome because that
what?
was Missouri. Sorry, Missouri. It's
him.
Missouri.
Got him.
The white American is with Missouri, but out west or Midwest they say Missouri or Missouri, either one. But nonetheless, got one out
Missouri.
there. Yeah. But it was only for a week, and I got it before Thanksgiving, and that was just luck of the draw, really. But out here in the East Coast, I want to say it's like second week of November to the first week of December is like prime time. And unfortunately, in Connecticut, that's muzzleloader season and shotgun season. End of November, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You looked up in a...
December.
Well,
December
first,
is
December.
muzzleloader.
right,
Yeah.
first week of December, or is it second
It's
week?
second. It's a
Second
7th,
week?
7th to the 14th
Yeah.
normally.
But
or
what I'm
something
referring
like
to
that.
is prime time rut.
No,
Well,
Last 2
no,
weeks
you're
of
right
November,
because
first week of
You
December.
get a little
Okay,
post-rut come
December-
muzzleloader. You get a little post-rut come muzzleloader.
No, come
season.
muzzleloader, what ends up happening is all of your yearlings, your smaller bucks,
And
or
the
smaller
oldies.
deer, well,
like-
the smaller deer, the little ones, they go into their first rut.
Right.
So and they go later on in the season.
Elaborate on this, actually.
And what ends up happening? So there was a guy, good friend of ours, that I was talking to the other day, and he has 3 deer from 160 or bigger from this state, and he shot them all during muzzleloader. He holds number 1 biggest muzzleloader buck taken in the state, and it was with a little yearling during muzzleloader season. So between the December 7th and say the 20th that time. So December 1st, it's in December. So December 1st to December 15th, in that range, those deer went into the smaller yearlings went into estrus, and those big bucks hang out with them. So then big bucks are just hanging out there with these little skippers that are dumb as a box of rocks, and that's when they shoot a lot of big bucks. And he's not the first person that I've heard stories. I got another buddy that I used to hunt with all the time that would happen, and that was a huge thing. So
Nice.
in Connecticut, we can hunt from September 15th to December 31st. So the closing of the season.
State land,
Private land, whatever. Bow. The September 15th till the end of December. But in the southern zone, we can hunt until February 1st.
right?
So or January
11th and 12th.
31st. Right. So
Right.
I mean, we're in the woods when muzzleloader's in the woods, shotgun, rifle, all of them. So
And let's actually elaborate a little bit more when it is shotgun or muzzleloader. What are the rules in Connecticut?
you have to wear orange unless you're. Do you have to wear orange the
Oh,
whole
only-
time?
Once gun season comes, you should
only
always wear orange.
only traveling.
Always wear it.
Only travel. Well,
Once
yeah.
you're in a stand, 10
Ryan's
feet,
right, though.
10 feet.
Always wear it.
Well, the law states that you have to wear. Once you get 10 feet
and above.
and above, you can take your orange off if you're bow hunting. But in travel, you have to wear it. But in all,
And it's what is it? 500 square feet or 400?
400 square
400?
inches.
Square inches, not
Square
feet.
inches.
Or square.
That's
You'll be
a
walking
big
around
square-
with
You know what I mean.
yeah, walking
size
around
king
with a
size
fucking
sheet.
towel.
Yeah.
Just wrapping them. No, 400
cake.
square
500 square
inches.
What the hell is that
Yeah,
big
so-
ass cone doing there?
But I would recommend, especially hunting the state land, that where there's other hunters with guns, that you don't want those guys getting too close to you. So wear your orange all the time, like Ryan was saying.
State land can get a little crazy, especially opening day gun seasons. It
Right,
gets a
just
little-
wear your
gets a little
orange.
crazy.
It's not hard. Or put it on your tree. Put it. I mean,
Right,
there's
if you're
101
climbing that tree
things.
like that.
Well,
the
the
guy
douche-
opening day.
The
Like the
douchebag.
He's probably
September
listening right now.
15th.
Who knows?
Fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
At least he was safe. The douchebag was safe.
Yeah, he had orange in this tree during state land, and opening day is September
Opening day bow
15th.
season.
I mean, how do you... is he doing the right thing? Fuck yeah, he is.
For any of you new,
If I was in the woods with the Mexican, I would want fucking orange on my tree
But then you're
stand.
letting them know where you are.
shit, I'll fucking shank you if you ain't looking.
Yeah.
But you know what? The douchebag did it right. You know,
did.
if you're wondering, for the new listeners out there, if you're wondering what or who we're talking about, check out our later episodes or earlier episodes rather, and you'll know what we're talking about.
That's probably episode 1 or 2.
I don't even remember. I think it was 2.
Opening day.
I think it was 2. Was it 2? Yeah, I think it was 2.
Yeah.
But anyways, so moving along. So obviously you start. It's a good way, especially in the East Coast. It's a good way to hunt with thick timber. Start off of moon phases. From there, the rut trumps moon phases. But there's only one thing proven scientifically too, that trumps the rut, and it's only one thing that makes sense. Really, something we can't control. What do you think that is, Ryan?
I'm gonna go back to does here.
Does?
Yeah.
Wait. Answer this
Food.
question. Answer this question, and then we'll go back to the does. What trumps the rut?
What trumps the rut? Oh, food. You gotta find a food source.
Nah.
What do you mean no?
Food can be a factor, but what's even stronger than food that trumps the rut? This is a quick question answer thing.
Yeah. Trev, what do you got?
Bro, because I'm always studying, but you guys are more experienced than me, but I'm always trying to learn, and this is something new that makes
Trumps the
sense.
rut.
Yeah.
Something
The
that
only
trumps-
possible thing.
Nothing trumps the rut because that's
Mother
when you got
Nature.
Oh.
Mother
Oh.
Nature.
Oh,
Weather.
That thunderstorm,
Weather.
that rainstorm during the rut any day.
Let me tell you something. I will definitely 100% hunt a rainstorm.
Oh,
during
hell
rut.
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no.
They're
No,
on the
all day.
move. Wind.
During the rut only, though. During the rut only, because
Oh,
not
in the
all the
rain?
times. Yeah, if it's not rut, and it's like early season or even later season, if the
I don't
weather's
know.
that bad,
They wait. Oh, when it's like you're talking
Out of
rain, I'm talking like wind, rain, all those things. And at that point, I would stalk hunt because they're gonna be laid down.
you know
you know
what?
what I'm saying?
I brought that up last year on other podcast shows, and they were in a bit disbelief, but that's how I got my actually 8-pointer out of Connecticut. Is is directly like that. Wasn't bad weather, but it was weather to make me true ninja. And true ninja was definitely stalk the animal. Like
Right.
what
Yo,
we did in
you don't
episode
even-
2.
Yo, you don't even know. We stalk hunt, like me and Ryan, when it's raining. We have certain spots that we'll go into
Oh, hell
when
yeah.
it's raining, and we'll
Hell yeah.
literally just walk it. And
'Cause
I've
they're
shot
bedded.
tons of deer.
They
Now,
just-
how many
they just
deer did
pop
we
up
see
out
that
of
day?
nowhere. They just pop, it's
How
like
many
duck,
deer?
it's like that duck hunt video game. They just
It's
pop
crazy.
up out of the bushes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Extinctive almost.
But and going back to that note, in doing that, you have to be very careful and know your surroundings. Just don't go into a place and just start flinging arrows.
Yeah,
Like,
you're not
we
fucking
know
Rambo.
These places.
Right.
We know these places. It's not like we're just going into them and just it. You just need to know your surroundings because you can get carried away. You can get off boundary. That's a huge thing. Definitely know your areas, but it's just what's the difference of doing that and stalking a muley out west or something like that? It's just on a smaller scale.
You're using the weather
You know?
to your advantage.
Absolutely.
And even then, the weather only is so strong. This is what's so amazing about the rut. The whitetail rut is definitely something to be said, because although weather can trump the rut, I've also seen with me own eyes blizzard outside, and the rut was happening only during the rut. There's those few exceptions that the whitetail testosterone is king. Whatever that animal wants is going to get. Word, Trev?
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to stop me from going to the bar if I want to find a girl when it's
I'm just
snowing
saying,
out.
isn't that crazy, though?
I mean, I'm married, but...
And this wasn't the Dirty Dirty. It was, actually, to be technical, it was just outside the Dirty Dirty, across the town line, which I had permission into the next one. And it was just crazy to see. It was because I was following tracks. I was stalking.
Right.
And this was actually officially the first week of December. It was December 2nd. And I was just stalking, and it was a blizzard. And the crazy part was
the buck tied down with the doe?
just about. He was trying. The doe was slippery as fuck because she was all wet and it's cold out.
Yeah, but they weren't like bedded down, or were they standing there? What was going on?
No, he was trying to get it. He was trying to get it.
Oh, you did it like that.
Yeah, no, he was trying to get it. And that's why I didn't shoot.
He was trying to Ryan the porn star the shit out of that doe?
I'm just saying. If Ryan was a deer, he was that deer that day.
No shit.
Straight up. Isn't that crazy, though? It's the things
he
you
went,
see.
He went the way anybody would want to go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But at that very moment, obviously, it's not ethical to take a shot, but that's crazy.
How's that not
to even
ethical?
witness. Because it's moving around. I'm not
true.
going to shoot.
I get you.
If
I
it's-
thought there was like some rule about
No.
ethical that he couldn't be getting it and you give it to him.
There's actually, hey, if you are that good of a shot that you could shoot a moving deer like that in rut, hey, more power to you. You're a bit of a god. But me, myself, I definitely hold back and try to make an ethical shot so this way I don't get a liver shot or miss and hit something else, God forbid, or I just can't do it.
I get it.
Well, I'm
I
just saying,
understand.
you grilled me. No.
I'm just making sure.
I'm joking.
Yeah. That's awesome,
But
though.
isn't that cool, though?
That is, man.
It's crazy. You
that's
just
the way
got to
to
get
do
out
it.
into the woods, though. That's what it takes. Just getting out there.
You're gonna make 101 mistakes before it all comes together. I don't care who you are, where you're hunting, what you're doing. There's 101 fails before you succeed. Like, you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort. You need to fuck up. You need to, it happens, and you learn these tactics by doing. You're not gonna. Yes, you may read them in a magazine or listen to it on a podcast or watch YouTube or whatever your fancy is, but you're never gonna learn those things truly without doing it yourself.
Apply what you learn.
I mean, D-Rock, you've learned 101 things in your endeavors of trying, it being new at deer hunting, but you can only fail
Right.
and learn.
And trust
from
me, I
yourself.
failed. Trust me, I failed.
I still fail to this day.
I'm just saying, don't get discouraged because, trust me, I failed, but I'm trying everything. Because no one knows everything.
You're like
So
Ryan. You're trying everything. You're taking a shit in the woods.
Hey,
Yo,
sometimes it works.
That's one thing I haven't
He's
tried.
like, yo,
I
I'm
think I
gonna
might
piss.
try that.
I'm gonna piss on this scrape.
yeah, well,
Just
it's a
to piss
young
him
buck
off.
scrape, fresh scrape.
I get it. We talk about it.
Yeah.
What is the worst thing that happens? It
He's
doesn't
gonna
work.
come back. Yeah, exactly. You live and you learn.
Know what I always wondered if you spray a little estrus and then pissed on it, like Then the buck's
Ooh.
gonna get mad because
Then
he's getting
it was
something,
happening.
not him.
It was happening at a scrape.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
He's
That's what I
pissed
mean.
off.
Yeah,
You're
it's
gonna
like,
get them
that's
dirty
my
water,
dough.
slippery fuckers
That's
hanging
my
out.
dough. That's mine.
That's
Right.
that dirty water back door right there.
I'm saying, you don't want the dirty water back door. Unless you're looking for the Fabio. Fabio, if you're still out there, I'm still hunting you. Fabio from the dirty. I haven't hit him
Fabio, I
yet.
believe, is a whitetail dude.
Trev,
I believe.
No, I know. I know.
Trev,
probably.
you seen that tenor I got out of Waterbury.
Beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. That's the dirty. The dirty brought that.
I need to get in on that.
I'm just saying. Yo, it takes...
I would love it down there.
It's crazy, though. It's crazy. You got to get permission in weird places and even
I would just stop at the Arby's on the way in.
Ooh, there
you know
you
what?
go.
I actually got a new property, right? It's actually a pretty famous restaurant. They're only sitting on 2 acres, right? 2 fucking acres.
That's all that matters.
Bro, their gazebo area, though, they always have a garden. And for some reason, the clovers are rampant there. And for some reason, the deer love to go there. Because there's hardly ever any people back there unless it's a special event.
Right.
And it's all enclosed on tree line. All of it. And I can't tell you exactly where. It's past that rock with the big tree and the river running.
Yeah.
But
That's where
I'm
I
just-
hunt.
yeah, I think a lot of people hunt there.
Right in
But
there.
it's actually right next to a construction company, right? And behind that is all new development. So I feel this is funneled all the way into a nice spot, and I'm feeling good about it.
Deer
That's
love people's backyards.
Bro,
Trevor hunts their
I
house
could sit there in the
all
gazebo.
Yeah, man.
I could sit there in the gazebo and just set up a little sheet blind from the picnic table to the gazebo and just pick them off.
I'm not sure where the problem lies.
Yeah, there's no problem.
I'm just saying. I'm happy.
That's my
happy with that
favorite,
property.
man.
There's
If I
nothing
could get
illegal
5,
against that.
I love 5-acre parcels.
Yeah, I used to sit in an old little horse barn.
I'm
Sit
just
in the
saying.
opening of it, deer would come out in a little horse pasture.
Well, horses
Whatever
are
it takes.
big, actually. I hear if
Yeah,
you walk...
because they feed them sweet feed.
Well, not even...
No,
not
this
even
was
just
an
that.
old pasture. There was no horses or food in this one.
No,
I
it
was
seems like wherever there's calm animals, there's
right.
deer.
Of course,
Confidence.
deer love horses.
That's like when we waterfowl hunt. We
Horses
put out
and
confident
turkey.
decoys.
We
Confident
touched-
decoys.
We touched that on an earlier episode with turkey.
Turkeys.
Yeah, where there's turkey, there's deer. Especially during turkey season, that's when you see the most deer. Isn't
That's
that
what I'm
crazy?
Yeah.
You're gobbling
fall.
away,
But the
calling
thing
them in, and
Let's think about this for a minute. The reason why the deer are with the turkey, or when you see turkey, you see deer, vice versa, whatever the case may be, there's the reason that is because they're eating the same things. They're living in the same areas. They're eating the same things, and they're just very close in relation. Like, because the turkeys eat acorns, turkeys eat they're both vegetarians. They both hang out in the same area, so that's why you see them all the time. And that's the same with horses. What do they eat? They eat grass, hay,
same shiz.
clover. Yep. So,
crazy. So, since we got way off subject,
Way,
the
way left field.
conclusion is follow moon phase first. Weather trumps the moon, and rut trumps practically all. I mean, the only time rut gets trump is weather, but it has to be extreme. So rut wins.
Yeah.
Agreed?
absolutely.
All right. So let's get to the next subject, wood safety. Now, at this time in Connecticut, it's October, and beginning of October, and a lot of waterfowl season is open.
Yep, duck. Well, early goose season's closed,
Just
and then duck season just opened. We're getting
yep.
into around the 16th, Ryan's birthday,
Which you
Send
could
him
bow
a
hunt.
card.
Which you could
So-
still bow hunt, though, which is amazing.
Correct.
That's pretty
Of
cool.
course you can.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. That's badass.
and so that will the pheasant season will open, the squirrel season, which is already still open. What else?
That's one thing I never bow hunted.
Squirrels?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
get
you bring
judo
out the 12
points, bro.
gauge or the
I-
22 max. Yeah, you don't
I'm
waste
talking
an
judo
arrow.
points. He's like,
Come
not
on.
just shoot him in the face.
Yeah, of course.
No, but so what other seasons are gonna open? You got rabbits gonna open.
Trapping.
Trapping's about to
everything.
open. I mean, everything's about to go haywire. So we definitely need to pay attention to other hunters in the woods. We share these lands and these properties with other people. We're not the only people out there, but that's why you wear your orange. You be aware of everybody else when you're in the woods. These guys have guns, mind you. There's and you're in the tree when they're trying to shoot things out of the tree, things that fly, stuff like that. So you definitely want to get away from them.
And as a trapper, I mean, I'm new to trapping too, and when I'm out there in the woods, during gun season especially, I have some kind of blazing orange on, because the last thing I want to get, I got my trapping bucket on my back, and then maybe sometimes I like to rock my
Where's this
Panyo-
deer fur coat out there? During gun
Nah,
season?
never. I'll never do that.
Deer cape.
I just got my deer skin back actually. I
Yeah, you
sent
were
that out
saying that.
from my first buck. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. I needed to do it. I kept everything except the skull. I'm not proud to say it was a button buck.
Didn't
but
keep the skull.
Nah,
Do you know
Nah.
who's sitting over here?
nah, that's all right. I didn't know him, but
It's
before.
the Trev of Trev Zeros.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's all good.
Plain and simple.
So good.
So what do you do to be safe in the woods during these times?
Well, these times, actually, what I like to do to be safe is go in earlier than any other hunter in there, and us three do a good job of that. We're out there where hardly any cars are on the road, and definitely no hunters are there. If they're there, they're more experienced as well.
Right.
I mean, we were there,
The
3:30?
ass crack of dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 4:00.
Well, we
yeah.
dropped you
Well,
off at
what-
3:30, went and got breakfast, and then we went out there.
Yeah, I know.
We
I
said,
had-
"Yeah, we're gonna send him up in this mountain."
I was in the tree by probably like 4:30, and not to be too redundant on that episode, but you guys were in it probably what 5-ish?
Yeah, we had a bit of a hike that day.
Yeah. So I mean that's where it's at though. If you want to get ahead of the game,
Get in
and
there
a different
early.
different hunting tactic is try to get up earlier. I mean shit.
Let
I
things
don't-
settle down in the woods too,
Yeah.
so that's always a benefit.
And excuses are out the window too, because if you really want to get it, it doesn't matter. I was running 1 hour sleep that night.
Yeah,
It's like I just really wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
New property, like primo spot, and we still struck out. But they're out there, and there's plenty of
That's
season
right.
left.
What do you do for hunting safety for other hunters and stuff, right?
Especially wood safety.
Yeah,
Wood
what's your-
safety, well, of course.
Aside from Trojans.
Be aware of your surroundings, of course. Trevor touched on this a little bit earlier on. Be aware of your surroundings. They teach the basics when you go to your courses. Especially, we're talking about bow hunting, but they talk about a lot in the firearms courses. You don't be shooting uphill. You don't know what's on the other side of it. An arrow can go a
huge.
good lengths either.
That's actually good advice. I
An
like
arrow can go, even if you shoot an animal that's sitting up there, it could go right through that. Right through that rib cage, come out the other side, and keep going over the hill a little bit. You don't know
that. Have a
what's
good
over there.
backstop. Yep.
Could be another hunter that snuck in there while in the dark, just like you did, and you have no idea he's there. So be aware of your surroundings, and of course, as soon
Like
as
that-
small game and anything starts up, get a little orange out when you're walking back and forth when you stand. Be safe. They're out there with guns, like Trevor said. They're flushing out animals, and they're just shooting. They're not looking for a guy walking with a bow out of his stand. So be aware of your surroundings and get some orange on during other seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really good advice. Actually, there's a new movie on Netflix. I don't know if you guys watched it yet.
No, what's that?
I think it's The Legend of the Whitetail
Oh my
Hunter.
God! I was hoping you
Oh.
weren't going to say it.
Yo.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
You know what? It was.
It was awful.
But
It
at the
was
same
terrible.
at the same time, man, it was like that classic depiction of like the American hunter. And it was
That little
pretty-
kid pissed me off, man. He could
Ah.
have shot that giant deer, and instead he shot some guy that was 100 feet away from him.
You know what? I think what it was trying to portray is accidents happen, no matter how safe you are. But yeah, I wanted to slap the hell out of that little
Yeah,
kid.
that's.
No, just a little back slap to the back of
I
the head
was-
or something.
I
You know what I
talked-
mean?
I
Like,
talked
what
back-
what the hell's wrong with you?
I talked my girl into watching the movie. I'm like, come on, I really want to watch it. And about for the first couple minutes, I'm like, it's a little cheesy, but it's okay. Then I'm like, wow, this is just bad. I watched the whole thing, but I'm like, wow, this is bad.
How about Red?
Oh,
Red
my
showing the
God.
nudie pics.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah, this
that was
is bad.
classic, like deer camp. Well, when you're young enough, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You get into deer camp.
Yeah.
You know what? I had that type of camp, but not deer camp, and that was for turkey. Going through the same thing, But I wish I would have done it for big game. Hence, big game Polina. Yeah, your local Pope and Young measurer right here. Bring
That's
me your
right.
trophies.
Yeah, we were talking about that with some other guys that shot some really good deer. We've seen some really good deer that are
Fuck
getting
yeah.
shot.
They're taking down some beasts.
Yeah, they're saying that one green scored at 155.
That's what I'm saying. My buddy Brian, out of my hunting group, out of the Dirty, we're roaming around. He actually took down, I think, from the pictures, it kind of looks like a low 140s, but it's still a good buck. 140 is
awesome.
big.
Yeah. That's huge.
And he looked more like the position of his antlers is a big 8, and the positioning of his antlers almost looked like a mule deer, but it was crowned. It was
Really?
crazy. Yeah, it was more like a crown more than anything, and went up, not out.
That's
So
crazy.
even the spread, the fact that it was like probably 140s with a low spread, that's how big the mass was. It was crazy.
That's insane. I got tagged in one on Instagram today. Guy caught.
He caught it.
He caught
Fucking
it.
fisherman.
Fuck, man. He took a
Harvested.
drop-town buck.
Harvested.
Tree hugger. That's what he is over there.
Damn. He just called you a tree hugger.
Sounds like a crunchy little.
Wow.
What did you catch? Oh, here it is.
Catch anything out there?
Who the fuck?
So, Ryan, what have
What's
you
up,
been seeing
D-Rock?
out there, man? Because you know what? We touched base on everything we needed to touch base on. We need more hunting tactics aside from your shitting in the woods.
Seen a couple deer. Get out there, move around, like Trevor and I talked about in episode 5. A
Come
little bit
on.
in episode 6 here. Move
What,
around.
mobile hunting?
Yeah, be mobile.
Creep and climb?
I mean, this time of year, it's hard to pattern deer. They're kind of moving between those stages. Summer, fall, rut's coming soon, so they're kind of a little hard to pinpoint here. Just move around a little bit. If you
And
got
this
the
weather's
first,
been crazy, where?
It is. I mean, we'll go from getting this stand, it's nice and cool, all of a sudden it's muggy and it's raining a little bit, then it's back and cool, all within a couple hours. So it's some strange weather. Deer are doing some strange things. So move around, use your cameras, use your eyeballs, checking out the ground, looking for sign. Rubs are starting, scrapes are starting, so get out there, move around, and find where the deer are.
You know what? You almost sound like you know what the fuck you're talking about.
There
You
we
know
go.
I just walk around the woods a
Yo,
lot.
check this thing out. So these guys, I got tagged in this today. Mass hunter that came into Connecticut and shot a drop time buck.
Go back to Mass.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Why don't you
that's a
explain
good
that
one.
pic a little bit?
Right here.
What do you see in there? What do you see in there?
Damn, look at the mass on that.
D-Rock, what are you seeing? You see a lot of mass?
Hell yeah.
Mass?
It looks
from
like a
Mass?
crown with drop tine.
Yeah, dude.
Almost like an eyebrow. That's just crazy.
Hey,
But
look
the
at it.
mass on it's ridiculous. You see that? Why don't you describe it for our
It's a
listeners?
wicked pissa.
It's a 1, 2, 3. It's an 8-pointer with a drop. 8-pointer with a drop.
One drop, two drop.
Just a single drop
on the right antler.
Yeah, on the starboard side.
Starburst.
Oh, fucking fisherman.
Is that red or green?
That would be green.
Do
So
we
it's on
know
the
if he's
right antler. Is it before,
It's on the green
after the
side.
G1 or before the G2? After the G2?
G2 to G3.
Oh, okay.
G2 to G3. Yeah. Yep.
Yo, the mass on that's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. So there's definitely some big bucks getting shot. I mean, those are obviously the early season bucks, but pretty cool. That thing's not like bulged up neck or nothing crazy yet, but
No.
So, Trev, is there anything else you want to add into the hunting tactics? I mean, because we could go a mile a minute all night long.
just
You
find
said-
that sign. Find that sign.
And when you say sign, what are we looking for?
We're looking for droppings. We're looking for trails.
Tracks.
A lot of deer are moving from those summer tactics to getting into summer tactics. They're moving from their summer movements to now their winter movements. They're looking for food. A lot of the food sources has changed. They've cut corn. They're not living in the corn no more.
They're
not,
trying to bulk up, right?
Yeah, and they're getting ready for that rut. I mean, they want to bulk up for the rut. I mean, them bucks are going to be running, but they're definitely changing their summer to now their winter patterns. You know, now these bucks are starting to get hard horned. Testosterone's starting to move a little bit, and you know, you just want to get on that sign, look for them scrapes, them rubs, them active ones. You know, them community scrapes and stuff, and they're always a good thing to find and hunt. You know, you'll find those things kind of like on the sides of the ridges in the oak area, stuff like that, where they're
still dropping, surprisingly.
right. Yeah, you find it. I'll tell you what, you find an oak tree right now, they're gonna be underneath it with their tongue open. They're just gonna be drooling all on it. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's not a lot of acorns right now.
No, what I noticed
Especially
lately.
here.
Oh, I know. I
We're just
agree with
hearing a
you.
little bit of drops, which some of these trees that we were sitting in, They normally,
massive oaks. That
yeah,
should be pretty
yeah.
you normally get knocked out by how much acorns come down. It
Right.
hurts, but you're not hearing that right now.
It's like a gun in the dirty. But one thing I noticed, actually, right around this time too, is it just seems like the bucks are a little hornier than usual. Ever since Ryan's been hitting the woods harder.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it
You
is.
gotta find that tree. And
They
swat
smell
up
that
against it.
testosterone, dude.
Get up
Yeah.
On the
against that
porn star,
tree.
Trojans and testosterone.
Yeah. That's the mix, guys. Testosterone and Trojans. The double T's. Get the double T's and you'll get some
You
antler on
hit
the
the
ground.
TT.
Yeah. So I think we touched base on a lot of things. There's so many more other tactics, though. I mean, we touched base on stalking, climbing. You glanced over the tree blinds or the ground blinds that are up elevated a little
Yeah,
more with
the-
windows, door, like the pimped
Yeah.
out ones.
Yeah,
The
we were
Connecticut
on a-
ones. I want to say the Connecticut ones
Yeah, these are all homemade.
because if you don't have money, you don't have that.
Yeah, and then the food plot that we were hunting, had turnips and radishes in it. So, and they've actually been planted twice because they keep getting washed out from all the water.
Yeah, this
So
weather's
it's
been
pretty
crazy
cool.
in Connecticut. That's
Yeah.
why you always have to be changing up your game plan.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it was fun, man. We really had a good time. So it was cool being in those blinds and stuff and being able to hunt throughout the rain because these guys are down here and they got to hunt. You know, they only have a couple of days to make it, so we just had
They
to be
gotta
out
make it
there and
happen.
just do it, man.
Right.
It was cool. It was a really fun time. I can't wait to hear from those guys and them guys come back down, and that was a blast.
Cool.
So just
Awesome.
got to change up your tactics.
Hell yeah.
You know,
Ryan, you
hard.
got anything to add, man?
I think I'm good, man. We're just gonna keep hitting the woods, and I hope everyone does the same. Whether you see deer or not see deer, learn from it.
Move
you know,
around.
Move around.
Yeah, you're gonna end up getting on them when it's gonna be the right time. You know, like right now, it's just the early season. It's tough, and things are starting to change. So move around, find them, and that rut's not gonna be too far behind.
Hell yeah.
You know, we're
What's-
getting out earlier and earlier. I mean, when we started, the 15th was almost 7 o'clock that we could hunt till. Now we're at 6:30, so you're only getting closer and closer to that stuff.
Right.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's crazy. I'm excited. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
It's gonna be real good.
Positive note is you newbies out there that are hesitant, get in there. If you don't have a license to hunt, go with someone in the woods while they're hunting. It's perfectly legal. Watch them do everything. Learn something. This way, next season comes around and classes come around, you can sign up and you know exactly what to expect. And don't be tentative either. You know, the classes are free. You have grandpas, little kids, middle-aged kids, teenagers. Shit, you might even hook up with someone. Is just go in there scent free, so you have the best chance for bagging a woman of your dreams, because if she's there, that's a woman for you. So on that note, stay stepping.
Stay slaying.